On the Paper Talk today, we'll be looking at the potential sale of Manchester United, more than the potential sale, the likely sale of Manchester United, and who could be in for this club. We'll be getting into that. We'll also be looking at potential, love that word, potential, some potential sales from Manchester United, or players being released, not even sales. It looks like there could be a host of players out of contract who are wanted by other clubs, so United may need to tie them down. And also, we'll have the obligatory Cody Gakpo transfer story, so let's get into it. Jay here, Stretford, Paddock. This is the Paper Talk. I'm outside Old Trafford and it is absolutely brass. So make sure you've got your parka on and your jumpers as well because it's freezing. We'll get straight into it. Quite a few stories doing the rounds this morning, focusing on the sale of Manchester United. There's a piece in The Athletic which says that there's quite a few suitors for Manchester United. Some that have been linked in the past aren't true, but others are. So we'll get into that. There's also a story about a few players who could be leaving when their contracts are up. Their contracts are up very soon. There's a story in Evening News about a few players that could be going, including Marcus Rashford. So we'll get into that. And where would we be without the obligatory Cody Gakpo story? So we'll get into one of those as well. There's a few stories doing the rounds about Cody Gakpo's potential move to Manchester United and a couple of other players we've been linked with. So we will get involved with all of that. So make sure you are hitting like, share and subscribe. Right, let's start with the sale of Manchester United. We know the club is up for sale. The Glazers are ready, finally, after 17 years, to sell up and F off. Now, there's a story in The Athletic which has been picked up by other newspapers as well, or other publications, and it's almost like the story of the sale of Manchester United and where we're up to. Now, the interesting part of this, for me anyway, is that Amazon have been mooted here, it says in The Athletic, this is by Laurie Whitwell, as possibility by some close to the talks. The company has a sleeve sponsorship with Napoli, who obviously are current leaders in Italy's Serie A, and also holds broadcast rights to Premier League matches. A spokesperson said Amazon declined to comment on rumour and speculation. Right, okay, so it's not no, we're not in, it's no, we're not talking about it. Looking, make of that what you will, as they say. Apple was also a link, or a reported link to Manchester United, a reported potential owner. Apparently that's not happening though. It says here, Apple was reported to be considering a move only for sources who had to remain anonymous to protect their position. To confirm to The Athletic, there is no interest in tabling a bid. So it looks like Amazon could be one. There's also talk of clothing empire Zara have been linked with a taking over United, but there was a denial from that. A statement on behalf of Amancio Ortega, the billionaire owner of Zara, read, Pontegada investment and asset management company of the Ortega family denies the existence of signs of interest in the acquisition of the Manchester United club. So that's pretty emphatic. Also, and I'll get onto this one and I'll move on from this story because already I'm getting confused. Mukesh Ambani, an Indian businessman who is the 10th richest man in the world, he's got 90.7 billion. It's not too shabby, is it? Milky Bars are on him. Has been proposed as making a shift into football by experts. It goes on to sort of speak about this, though. I think they've interviewed Simon Chadwick, who's a professor in sport of geopolitical economy at the Schema Business School, and he sort of says that there is a sense in India could be the next great frontier. Could be the next great frontier. We've already had China and now we've had Saudi Arabia. But it goes on to say Ambani's son, is reported to be a big Arsenal fan. And they could be interested in there. Also, they've been linked with Liverpool, so I don't think that Ambani's looking like a likely owner. Anyway, I don't want to get into that because it's there's quite a lot in that article, as you expect from Athletic article. We'll do a story on it later where we'll go through it. We'll get Joe to run through that article, talk about the potential suitors, and he can go through them one by one. There's not one of the people that's involved in this deal is one of the ones that helped facilitate the sale of Chelsea, and it does say there isn't the sense of urgency there was at Chelsea because of the limited time they had to get sort of Abramovich out. There isn't that here at Manchester United, but there could be some bids coming in. So we'll get into that. Also, the Amazon one, they said, some of these bids are looking at hopefully getting something in place by the first quarter, or some interest in the first quarter of next year. So could be sooner rather than later. Should we talk about some outgoings, potential players outgoing? Now, one that I'm not into is Marcus Rashford. Could be got a PSG according to reports. Now, I think this is originally in the Mirror. It's been picked up by a few other papers as well, and it says that PSG are putting together a package that would see Rashford earn 850 grand a week at the Parc des Princes. They've obviously always been interested in Marcus Rashford, PSG. We've always had these links. He plays well against them. He's obviously, he scored that late winner in that iconic game in Paris, shall we say, that penalty. Another late winner as well in one of the group games a couple of years ago. So they rate him, they want him, he's out of contract. They could probably afford to pay him something stupid, like 850 grand a week. You think about it, whatever that is a year, 40 odd million or whatever it is, a year. But he's not got a transfer fee if he's a free agent. So, you know, Marcus Rashford is probably worth about 80, 90 million, probably 100 million, I think. That people may laugh at that and go, 100 million. In today's current market, players are going for silly money like that. Do you know what I mean? And Marcus Rashford, okay, he's had a difficult spell, but his star's rising pretty high at the minute. And he has had a couple of seasons where he scored 20 plus goals, and he's still in 25. So maybe, you know, maybe not quite 100, maybe 80, 90, but I wouldn't be surprised if that was his valuation. So if they're not paying a transfer fee, them paying 40 odd million or whatever it is a year in wages probably makes sense to them. So he's free next year to negotiate with other clubs. However, this has been sort of addressed by Erik Ten Hag. Ten Hag said, Marcus was one from the start who came with a smile to Carrington. From the first moment, it really was a joy to work with him. I recognise his talent. I think he's happier off the pitch too. One of the first things I said to Rashford was, come to training and smile. That gives you energy and you're happy. So he's been sort of waxing lyrical about the changing fortunes of Marcus Rashford. He said... Also, he talks about how they want to keep him. He says he wants to be one of the faces of the project. United will try and make him sign a long-term deal. That comes from Fabrizio Romano, that particular comment as well there. So it looks like Manchester United are definitely keen to keep Marcus Rashford. Ten Hag wants to keep him. We was at a press conference over in Australia where it was a player and it was the manager, and the player was Marcus Rashford, and Ten Hag was absolutely singing his praises. And this was before this season where he's rejuvenated. So I'd be very surprised if Manchester United didn't try and keep hold of him. Says there from Romano that Ten Hag's desperate to keep him. You can understand that. Also from Romano, just get into some. Should we get into some? We'll get into some other transfers, and then I'll go back to some of the players that have been linked with the move away. It says here, João Felix is available. United know he's available. United wanted him in the summer, but now it is a different situation after the purchase of Anthony. So I don't know what's going to happen with Felix. There's talk of him being around 85 million quid. I don't know if United are going to pay that after we've spent big in the summer transfer window, but Ronaldo's gone. We do need another attacker, so maybe there could still be some interest there. Also on the Cody Gakpo front, I promised you a Cody Gakpo story and I won't let you down. It says Cody Gakpo would still be keen on a move to United. Contacts with agents are ongoing. He could be available for 60 to 65 million, including add-ons. It also says here that I think that's one of my mate. Yes, it's happening. It's my mate Jay. It says here the odds on a Gakpo move 2-1 by the bookies. Move to Manchester United is 2-1, 7-1 to Newcastle. Producer Ethan will like that, and 9-1 to Leeds United. I don't know what's going on there. So yeah, it looks like it could be happening. We'll keep you posted as always. Just a couple of other bits. Gonzalo Ramos' price tag has risen by 45 million following the World Cup. There's a story here in the Evening News saying that United, if they wanted to buy him, they're going to have to pay around 70 million. I don't know how solid the interest is there. We were apparently monitoring him, looking at him, but if we want to get him, he's not going to be a bargain deal anymore because of that hat-trick in the World Cup, basically. Also, on the players outgoing front, there's a story I think it's in the Express, saying that Manchester United may be set to pay for letting trio Luke Shaw, Diogo Dalot and Fred enter the final 6 months of their contracts, with Barcelona circling to make an approach. So those three players could be wanted at the new camp. We'll keep you posted if anything happens on any of those stories, whether it's the Glazers, whether it's Rashford, whether it's Dalot, Fred, Gakpo, whoever. So make sure you are hitting like, share and subscribe. Don't forget as well, we've got our 12 days of Paddock going on this month where you can win loads of prizes, 12 prizes. Every day we do a different prize, and at the end of it there's a £500 giveaway. So get involved in that. I've been Jay, outside, a very cold, my hands are freezing, that gloveless hand. Old Trafford, thanks for watching.